Morning. Happy sunny Saturday. Beautiful morning. I'm Christine Grenier. I'm the Vice President for Admission, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 7th Annual American Dream Scholarship Competition. I'm excited that you're choosing to start your Elmhurst experience with us today, and we're joined today by Blue Jays both in person and virtually, so welcome to all. Parents and friends, it's been a pleasure getting to hear each and one of your students' stories, and it's been a joy to see countless pictures of your family. It brings each story to life. And students, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for opening your hearts and bringing us into your families, making us laugh, and for some of us, making us cry. You've touched all of our hearts, and you've shared your challenges and struggles along with your hopes, your dreams, and your optimism for the future. And I want to point out, while there are 92 unique individuals here, you all have things in common. Each one of you spoke about how important it is and how influential your family is to you. Each one of you referenced the value of hard work, determination, things that you need in order to succeed. You are the ones that determine our future. You are my generation's American dream. And I feel confident that we're in good hands because each of you know what is important and will lead others with an open heart. I'd like to introduce Megan Wada to introduce our keynote speaker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Wada Alderson, Director of Admission Events. I am honored to introduce our 2024 American Dream keynote speaker, Ambrosia Italari, who competed in the 2020 American Dream Scholarship Competition. 4 years ago, I worked with Ambrosia and her family as her admission counselor, and as she was navigating her college search, just as all of you are as first-generation college students. Ambrosia has been an incredible addition to our campus community. She is now just a few short weeks prior to graduation. Ambrosia has thrived during her time on campus with her involvement in the honors program, professional research, and beyond. Please join me in welcoming Ambrosia, our 2024 American Dream keynote speaker.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to meet so many aspiring, bright, and motivated students before me. Thank you all for being here today. Like many of you, I once sat in this room as a first-generation American, filled with dreams and ambitions for the future that lies ahead. My name is Ambrosia Italari, and today I stand before you as a senior biology major with 3 minors in chemistry, business administration, and medical humanities. I have been accepted to medical school with aspirations of becoming an ophthalmologist in the future. As an Albanian American immigrant's child, the path to where I stand today has not been anything without the support of my family. My parents left their home country, Albania, to provide me with what the American dream stands for, to achieve success and prosperity through hard work, determination, and initiative. Their wavering determination and tireless efforts led to the cornerstone of my own aspirations. They instilled in me the belief that with hard work and dedication, anything is possible. And so, under the guidance of the loved ones around me, I embarked on my journey. A journey marked by countless nights studying, challenging myself to do my best in every endeavor, and never losing sight of the dreams that fueled my ambition. I remember stepping foot at Elmhurst University the day of the competition, and everything looked so different from high school. The campus looked huge to me. The buildings were so beautiful, and everything on campus gave a lasting positive impression that made me feel I belong here. As a prospective student at the American Dream competition, choosing Elmhurst University made a lasting positive impact on my academic journey. The wonderful faculty and staff were so helpful about everything I asked and would go the extra mile to make me feel at home. My wonderful admissions counselor, Megan Alderson, who introduced me, and health professions advisor, Erica Schauer, played a significant role in my decision to choose this wonderful university. My admissions counselor advised me that I was eligible as a first-generation student to participate in this American Dream Scholarship competition, and I followed her advice by submitting my video. I remember during the video, I shared my parents' journey and my inspiration and desire to become a physician someday. On the day of the official American Dream event, I recall feeling nervous, yet I was curious to see my potential classmates. My takeaway from this event was that it is always good to hear other people's stories and perspectives, and it opened my eyes to realize that I had my work cut out for me for the next 4 years because of all the great, intelligent candidates that would be coming into this university. This all compounded into my final decision of coming to Elmhurst University for the next 4 years. Today, as I stand on the precipice of a new chapter in my life, having been accepted to medical school with aspirations of becoming an ophthalmologist, I am reminded of the power of the American dream. It is a dream that transcends borders and backgrounds, that knows no limits or boundaries. It is a dream that tells us that no matter where we come from or what obstacles we face, we have the power to shape our own destiny. But let us not forget that the American dream is not just about individual success. It is about lifting others up, ensuring that every person, regardless of their circumstances, can pursue their own dreams. It is about building a society where hard work is rewarded, where meritocracy reigns supreme, and where the pursuit of excellence is celebrated. As a first-generation student, I've come to understand the pivotal roles that academic and student involvement play in shaping future success, and how being involved has helped me create the dream that I have now. As an honors program global scholar, I delved into breast cancer research and participated in research programs here like CASE and the Honors Program Summer Fellowship. My dedication led to the official publication of my research in an international STEM journal. Yet, I recognize that the campus experience extends far beyond the confines of the classrooms and labs. As a student ambassador, I've opened the doors of our university to prospective students, guiding them through campus tours and representing our institution at various events. Serving as a peer advisor, I've assisted incoming freshmen in navigating the maze of course registration, offering support during their transition to university life. Many of these students I keep in contact with to this day if they are in any need of my assistance or just to answer questions. Furthermore, I've also been involved with Honor Society organizations, such as becoming the student vice president through the Phi Kappa Phi Academic Honor Society. In addition to campus involvement, I am and have been on executive boards such as Student Government Association, Habitat for Humanity, and the Honors Program. Through these endeavors, I've gained invaluable insights and essential skills that will undoubtedly serve me as I embark on the next phase of my journey. Let us continue to strive towards a future where every individual has a chance to reach their full potential, where the American dream remains alive and well for generations to come. So, to my fellow students, I say this: embrace the challenges that lie ahead, for they are the stepping stones to greatness. Never lose sight of your dreams, for they are the fuel that will propel you forward. And above all, never forget the incredible privilege it is to live in a nation where the pursuit of the American dream is not just a possibility. As I embark on the next phase of my journey to medical school and graduate from Elmhurst University next month, I carry with me the invaluable lessons learned and profound values instilled during my time at Elmhurst with utmost gratitude and appreciation. Elmhurst University will forever hold a special place in my heart, shaping my character, fueling my aspirations, and providing unwavering support throughout my educational journey. I'm so grateful for my time here at Elmhurst and love where my academic journey has taken me. Thank you.
Thank you to Ambrosia for sharing all of her insight and wisdom with us. Good morning. It's so exciting to see everybody here and ready to participate in our scholarship competition. My name is Michelle Adams, and I'm the Assistant Vice President for Admission. And I'm pretty much up here this morning to share with you the agenda for the day. What are we all doing for the next couple hours? So first of all, in just a couple minutes, our students will be heading off with their group leaders to do the student group project. So start thinking about group project stuff, guys. Just start thinking about working together. While they are off doing their projects, our guests and parents will have the opportunity to join us for a FAFSA update, as well as a panel discussion right here in the chapel that'll take place from 9 to 10:30. And for our guests joining us virtually, please jump back to the landing page so that you can stay with us for the live stream this morning. The students will head back over here to the chapel closer to 10:30 to kick off the award ceremony, where you will hear from our university president, Dr. Troy Van Aken, and the winners of the competition will be announced live. So don't miss being back here by 10:30. We will also have an optional campus tour at 11 a.m. for anyone who is interested. And also, if you are so inclined, I invite you to swing by our track outside, where there's about 1,300 different students, including our Elmhurst athletes, competing in track and field events today for their track meet. And with that, we're going to get the competition rolling. For our students participating virtually, at this time, please go back to the landing page for today's event and select the Student Group Project Zoom link. And remember to jump back into that landing page and join us at the award ceremony at 10:30. For students joining us here on campus, I'd like to get you all moving to your project rooms with your group leaders in a somewhat orderly fashion. So by that I mean one row at a time. So can I ask group 14, which should be towards the back of our groups, to kick it off and head to your room, and then row 13 and 12 and so on. And for parents and guests, if you don't mind being patient for a couple minutes while they exit the room, and then I'll invite all of you to move up for the couple sessions. Thank you. All right. Most everybody's cleared out, so at this time, feel free to move on up to listen more closely to our FAFSA update and panel discussion. And again, thank you for being here, especially to support your students.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing today? Thank you for responding. I appreciate that. I could do the thing where like, no, it's not loud enough. So my name is Tim Ahlberg. I am the Associate Director for Affinity Population. Some of you know me because I am the admission counselor for most of the students involved in fine arts. You'll be hearing a lot from me today. I've got some friends up here. What does everybody want to talk about at 9 in the morning on a Saturday? Financial aid, why, of course. So we brought some excellent folks from we call our office the SFS office, the Student Financial Services Office. So I got Megan Weber and Aurelia Garcia. They're going to take you through a fantastic presentation explaining what exactly is going on with FAFSA. None of us in our office are stressed or worried about it at all ever. We don't even think about it, but perhaps you might be. And I also have Alexander here from Senior Director of Community Partnerships from our admission office, so we'll be kind of moderating questions and things like that. But I'm going to kind of turn it over to Megan, right? We got a little clicker here for you. And you want to stay there or sit up?
I will take it. We're going to stand on the sides here. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Good to see some happy faces this morning. We finally have some sunshine, always a good thing. So as Tim introduced us here, we're going to talk about some updates to the FAFSA application. I'm sure you all are inundated with information on this right now. It's as if financial aid and starting college isn't hard enough. Things got a little bit trickier this time around, so we're just going to help to provide some guidance on where we are right now, what you all can be doing to prepare, and just some general information so you have some more info on what's going on. So as Tim said, my name is Megan Weber. I'm the Assistant Director of Financial Aid Counseling over in Student Financial Services. And this is Aurelia Garcia. She's one of our financial aid counselors in the office. So we will go ahead and jump in.
All right, so why is the FAFSA changing? That's a really big question. Why all of a sudden this is just a big change for the 24-25 academic year? Well, the reason why is because the federal government passed a law in 2020 to make the FAFSA simplify. What they mean by that is just to make the FAFSA much shorter and easier for families, as well as expand more federal financial aid for students. So that is the reason why that big FAFSA change happened. And because of that, the whole application had to pretty much be completely changed. So it's going to look quite different from a previous academic year. So when is it available? So the 24-25 FAFSA is available now. So you guys can go ahead and start doing that application. Just kind of be aware that the application for some users, they might get stuck doing the application or even completing it. So just please be aware, not all families, but there is still families that are being impacted by those bugs that the federal aid has not fixed yet. They are in the progress of fixing that. We just have to kind of be patient with that. Typically, for the 24-25, it opened up in December 30th, but it typically opens up on October 1st. So that is typically when the FAFSA application opens up. So just make sure for the following academic year, which I know it's quite a bit of a jump, make sure to do the application on October 1st. So who is eligible to apply for the FAFSA application? Typically, students have to be a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen. An eligible non-citizen would be an individual who has their permanent resident card, such as a green card, has completed their high school completion, as well as what's it called, or like a high school completion or like a GED program, having a social security number, and it has to be valid, of course, and be enrolled or accepted in an eligible degree or certificate program. And then being enrolled at least half time to be eligible for the FAFSA application. So with the big changes with the FAFSA, I'm going to go over what is a contributor. Previously, the older FAFSA, it was just one application. The student and the parent could see the whole application and see the parent section, and then the parents could see the student section. Now with the 24-25 FAFSA application, only the student sees their own section, and then the parent only sees their own section as well. So that means that the student has to invite their parent
to do their portion of their FAFSA. So that is something new when it comes to that. That is the invitation for a contributor. That is something that is on this slide of what is a contributor. So anyone that provides information and consent in the FAFSA application. So this can include student and parents. So all contributors have to have an FSA ID. So an FSA ID is just an electronic account for federal student aid that is for you to be able to complete and sign a FAFSA application form. So that is what a FSA ID is. Previously, you had to have a social security number to create an FSA ID. That no longer is the case. So parents without a social security number can now do an FSA ID account. Again, that is one of the issues that families are facing when it comes to completing the application. So please be aware of that. And then when a contributor is, their information is put on here, they're gonna get an invitation via email letting them know that their student has invited them to complete their FAFSA application portion. And then for contributors without social security number, like I mentioned, they're facing that error of not being able to create it. If you guys have any questions with that, you guys can always book an appointment so we could just take a look to see what is going on. Of course, we can't fix that because that is with the government, but we'll be able to see, hey, we'll try to do this to see if that works. So that is something just to be aware with that. Okay, so now application status. For those who may have already completed it, you may have seen already some of the status on your FAFSA application of the student. So these are just some of them. You can see the draft. That's when the application is still not completed and it's just a draft of the application. And then in progress. In progress, it just means that the application, you provided consent and approval and the signature, but it has not been submitted yet. In review, this is when the FAFSA has been submitted, but it has not been processed yet by the federal student aid. And then action required, that means that there's something missing on the application that's letting you know to provide something on the application. And I'm gonna go over something about corrections in a little bit with regarding that action required, because maybe some of you have seen that already when you went in there to check the progress of your FAFSA application. And then process, that means that the application was processed successfully and there's no further action needed. And then closed, your FAFSA form was never submitted and you can no longer submit it because the federal FAFSA deadline passed. So if you are required to make any corrections, let's say such as it's letting you know, hey, you're missing a signature, even though you might have like, maybe I did provide it, why is it letting me know? Just be aware that this is still not available yet. So you just have to wait again with federal student aid to make that available. We're hoping that we were announced that it will be sometime in the first half of April. We don't know if that's gonna be, tomorrow or in a week. We're just hoping by April they have that available so that way you could go in the application and provide anything that's missing on the application to make that correction.
Just by a quick show of hands, how many of you all have already completed the FAFSA? Okay, good. So we got past the first frustrating part, which is completing it. And so what we want to do today is kind of give you where we are and some updates as what we know from the federal government. Thank you.
And that is the perfect transition into where we are now, which is what happens once you complete the FAFSA. So once you completed it, went through all that work, you got this congratulations success page. What happens next are a couple things start processing here. So one, the student is going to get an email with their FAFSA submission summary. That's going to include some information that's valuable for you all to know. One, it's going to let you know if any additional information is needed from you. So for example, if just as an example, if they're not able to verify your citizenship status for whatever reason, they may let you know that you'll need to provide documentation for that. So that's one place where you'll be notified if any additional info is needed. It's also going to include what's called your SAI, or your Student Aid Index. This is the number that when they put all of the information you put on the FAFSA through a calculation, it outputs the SAI, which is the number that we use to award your students. So that's the number that shows us what kind of aid they're eligible for. So if you have your SAI, but you haven't gotten an award package yet, you can always call our office and we can put together some kind of estimate for you, just so you know what to expect in the meantime. So that's another valuable piece of info that's going to be in here for you. Once the application is completed, not only is the student going to get sent some information, but the school is also going to get sent the same information. So whether or not we can begin processing that yet is a different story, but we may have received the data already, which is good. That's the first step. Now, there are some issues with FAFSAs that have been submitted already. So the department has been coming out, letting us know some information that there were some issues with the way that the SAIs were calculated. So the information that we got may or may not be reliable. So that's the situation where we are right now. Luckily, we got some really good news yesterday. Basically, we were waiting on a list from the department telling us which applications we were good to process and which ones we needed to wait on because they're going to reprocess them. We got that list. So we now have a list of the applications that we can start processing, which is good news for you all because that means you're going to start seeing some movement if you haven't already. In the case that your application was one of the ones that were impacted by any of these issues on the screen here, for example, in that section where it asks about your assets, about like cash, savings, investments, students who input information into there before March 23rd had their SAIs calculated incorrectly. So luckily we know which populations were impacted. That way we can communicate that to you as well. So in the coming weeks, we're going to be reaching out to you all, letting you know if your application was one that was impacted. That way we can just keep you in the loop on what's going on. But they have confirmed that they will be reprocessing any applications that were impacted by that, and then we'll be able to pick up where we left off on there. So there are still some issues going on, but they have been a lot quicker and more responsive with resolving them lately, so we have been getting some good news coming in. Okay, so you've submitted your FAFSA. We're going through what's happening. So we have started receiving FAFSAs, as I mentioned. We have started processing them. We've successfully processed about 300 applications at this time, and luckily for you all in the room, we are focusing on processing incoming students' FAFSAs first. We know that you all are on kind of a time crunch with making your decisions, and we really want to make sure that you all are getting the information you need as quickly as possible. So we are prioritizing the group in the room here, all of our incoming students. So if we get the application and it has that action needed, if there's anything missing, anything we need from you, now's the time that we're going to start communicating that. So through your admissions counselor, we may be letting them know if there's any information so they can communicate that to you. And you may also be receiving notifications by email or things like that if there is anything that we need at this time. If not, if your application looks good and we're ready to go, we're going to start processing those as soon as we can. So that is already happening on a rolling basis, so we're processing those every day at this point. So once it gets processed, your student will receive an email letting them know that their financial aid award offer letter is ready for review, and they can review that in the student portal, or they can review it by letter in the mail, because we will also send those out by mail to your address on your application. So there are two ways to view that. Obviously, the electronic is going to be a little bit faster. So once you get that notification that your award is ready to review, go ahead and hop in and take a look at it, and we can start going through the numbers together and get your questions answered. If you have not gotten your offer award letter yet, we have a couple tips on things you can do just to make the process go a little bit faster once you do. You're going to want to make sure that your student has their E-number. So the E-number is the student account number that's assigned to every student when they're admitted to the university, and that is also their username to the student portal. So when they get that notification that their award letter is ready, they're going to need that E-number to log in and check it out. So that is available in their admissions portal. They can also contact their admissions counselor to confirm what that is. Once they have that E-number, we're going to encourage them to go ahead and successfully set up their student portal. So they'll need to log in the first time, make sure it all works, and that way once you get the notification, you're good to go. Additionally, continue to partner with your admissions counselor and your admissions team and just make sure everything else is up to date. There's nothing else pending of you or anything else that you could be working on in the meantime, just so we're all ready to go. Okay, so I wanted to share a little bit about what the offer letter will look like because it's got a lot of information on it and it can be a little bit confusing. So this is just an example up on the screen here. In this example, this student is living on campus. So you're gonna see that there's some housing and food charges at the top. Not every student gets charged that, just depending on their preference. But the number at the very top there, the estimated direct costs, that's gonna be the sticker price, or the price before any financial aid. So no student is paying that sticker price, right? We just have to tell you what all the charges are there, and then as we go down, we'll see that number drop as the financial aid gets applied. This first section here, the scholarships and grants, are going to be any of that free money that's coming your students' way. So scholarships and grants do not have to be repaid, so that is money that is just an investment to them, to their education. And that number is totaled in the second red circle with the gift aid offered. So that's going to total any federal gift aid they were offered and scholarships from the university. Below that is going to be any federal loans offered. So when a student does a FAFSA, it's likely that they're going to be offered some federal student loan funding. Students are not required to borrow this. They're able to borrow as much or as little of this as they want, but it is included on the award letter here as an optional form of aid in case you are considering doing that, so you can see how that would impact the cost. So we have then the student loans offered, and then finally we kind of tally that all up for you. So we have the charges up here, the aid given here, and then finally the number at the very bottom is going to be that net price or the out-of-pocket cost. Again, that differs for every student depending on what your costs are and what kind of aid you're getting, but that's just a nice way to see kind of how to read that. But again, we see these things every day. We're more than happy to sit down with you and go through it step by step and just confirm what all that means, how to interpret that, and what it means for you. So that was just kind of a crash course on our award letters when you do get them, but you're not alone with that. So whether you want to connect with admissions or with our office, we can help you to understand kind of what that means for you.
I'm going to interrupt really
Please.
quick. Just, she keeps talking about connecting with your admission counselor. Some of you do that. Some of you know your counselor. If you haven't, it's a real important thing to do because as we're moving forward through April and May, and as these things kind of come into light, it's really useful to sit down either in person or via Zoom if you want to meet with your admission counselor and do a cost payment breakdown where we have a fancy spreadsheet where we take all this information and put it into there so we can kind of help give you a really pretty solid estimate as to how much this is all going to end up costing. The other piece of it is we're really good at kind of explaining, because we're all so used to just going SFS, CPE, this place, that place. You go into this portal and that portal. Don't you have this password? And you're just like, what are you talking about? So real quickly, just know there's two portals. It's really confusing. Two different sets of passwords. The one your student got when they got admitted, their application portal, we call the virtual roost as well. That's where the admission letter is, the scholarship letters are. And then the student portal she's talking about, we call the My Elmhurst portal, and that's the one that you use the E-number for, and you created a password for when you got admitted. So eventually the virtual roost will fade away, and your My Elmhurst student portal will be the main one, and that's also where you're going to pay your bill. All this information that she's talking about, you'll be able to find in the My Elmhurst portal under self-service. So even now, you're probably glossed over, what are you talking about? And that's why an admission counselor is a good person to have a meeting to kind of help re-clarify. Eventually, this will all be old hat and you won't care anymore. But right now, it feels like a fire hose of information, so I just want to take a moment to help clarify.
And then also, we maybe should have mentioned this earlier, but as we're going through this presentation, and we'll still have time at the end as well, if you have questions, my role today is, and the reason why I have my trusty gym shoes on, is if you have any questions, I'm going to run around and bring the microphone to you so you can ask our financial folks here anything that you may have that's pressing. So the last time I did this, they thought it was really funny to have one person in the front ask a question, and then the next person be way in the back and ask a question, and then the next person will be way in the front and ask a question, and I had to do a wardrobe change because I was sweating so much. If that's the case today, that's okay. I have another suit jacket in my office as well, so if you all want to partake in that and have a little fun, we can do that as well. But when you all have questions, let me know, and I'm ready to open the floor up for you as well.
Yeah, thank you both so much. It's super important just to note the kind of support that you have, because you all have so much information flying at you right now, especially with not only graduating high school, but moving forward to college. There's a lot going on. So don't feel like you have to do any of this alone. Your admissions counselor is a huge asset to get that information and that one-on-one support, and then they can help to connect you with those other departments on campus as well, should you need that further step. So thank you both for mentioning that. That's super helpful. Okay, so a little touch on this. So we've already had a couple families contact us and say, our financial situation has changed since we filed the FAFSA, right? If you notice, they look at 2 years back. So they were looking at your 2022 tax information to complete your FAFSA. A lot can change in 2 years. So if your family has been impacted by any of the situations on the screen here or other, those aren't an exhaustive list, please contact our office and let us know what's going on, because we do offer what's called a special circumstance appeal. So in the case that your financial situation has changed and therefore your ability to pay for school has changed, we have an appeal process where we can review your current income information or situation and tailor the FAFSA to more reflect that. So I've had a couple families reach out in regard to that. So if any of these circumstances are impacting you, you get your award letter and you're like, no, this isn't, our financial situation has changed, we can't do this kind of thing anymore, just contact us and we can go through it and see what your other options are. So just wanted to name that because the FAFSA doesn't necessarily capture those kind of things. And with that being said, we are a huge resource to you all as well as you're coming through. We're more than happy to meet with you to go over your questions about types of aid, what your award letter means, special circumstances, tuition, all that kind of stuff. So we have a couple ways to get a hold of us. Up at the top there is the link to book an appointment with our office. So we meet with incoming students just as much as current students, so you all are welcome to book appointments should you want to meet with a counselor one-on-one. I also have linked our FAFSA page here. So at elmhurst.edu/FAFSA, we are updating that at least weekly, sometimes multiple days a week, because they keep putting out more information for us, the department does, so we want to make sure that you all have a hub to review that information as well. So you can bookmark that page for frequent updates on where we're at with the FAFSA. And then I have our contact information down here with our email and phone number. So yeah, please feel free to contact us at any time should you have any questions in the future, because if you have questions now, we will take them now. So we will let our moderators go get those questions. So should you have them, throw a hand up and we'll come find you and answer those questions for you.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm going to get started with the first question, actually, and then I'm going to give this.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, it does. But, okay.
This one's yours if you want.
No, it's fine. You all are going to keep that one. Tim's going to keep this one. And the first question I have is, you all may not know this, but I actually have five children. My oldest child is 19. My second daughter is 17. She'll be 18 and going to school in the fall. And then there's 13, 8, and 1. Don't judge me. But the question I have is, does the FAFSA take into consideration the fact that I'll have two children, because my oldest daughter is in her first year of college now, and then my second daughter will be going to college in the fall. So does the FAFSA take that into consideration?
Yeah, really good question. So the FAFSA does look at your overall household size and take that into consideration. So they would look at the number of children in the household. Unfortunately, unfortunately, they no longer consider multiple students in college, though. So previously on the FAFSA application, it is a boo. That one is a boo. Previously on the application, they would ask how many students you have in college, and they would tailor your aid eligibility based on that, because obviously paying multiple tuitions is going to create more of a financial strain on you. They did not give guidance as to why, but they did remove that from the FAFSA. But we do have options to kind of make up for that in a way by doing that special circumstance appeal that I mentioned. If your family is having financial strains and you're paying double or triple tuition on top of that, you can connect with our office and we can review what that out-of-pocket cost looks like for you and your students and see if there's any way we can adjust your federal eligibility based on that information. So if that's a situation that you're finding yourself in and you're not really sure how you're going to swing two tuition bills, come talk to us and we can see what else there may be available for you.
Great.
We got one right here.
And I'll get this one over here too.
I'm finding the loan process to be rather confusing. I sat down with the financial aid department about 2 weeks ago just to kind of understand the process, and I still left rather confused. So very similar to your out-of-pocket expense example, I actually have twins that will be attending this year, so I am that circumstance where I've got double tuition to consider. What are the best practices? Because obviously the student aid is affected, the Parent Plus loan applications and all that are based on the cost of admission and whatnot. What are the best practices? How do I know how to navigate this process? Because I hear all these things on the news about students with loan forgiveness and taking on all this student debt, but yet I hear that the parents are the ones having to foot the loan bill on the front and then defer, and I'm all mixed up on what's what and what's reality and what, as a parent who's looking at double tuition, I should really be knowing I'm going to be getting into at the end of this month. I'm just confused.
Absolutely. And that's huge because loan funding is very confusing because there's so many different types of loans and things to consider. So the main types of loans that your students will be have available to them, one is going to be the direct loans that are coming from the FAFSA. So that's going to be the subsidized loans and the unsubsidized loans. These are offered directly to the student, so the loan would be in the student's name, and they would be the one responsible for repaying those. We recommend borrowing those loans first, if that's something that you all are open to, because those loans have the lowest interest rates of the loans that are offered to students. Right now, they're at 5.4%. 5.5%. That's not the rate for the 24-25 school year yet. They haven't announced the interest rates for those just yet. But those loans are traditionally the best loans that a student can take.
Is that up to the 5,500 that I see?
Yep. So with those loans, they do, and before I mention that, the subsidized and the unsubsidized, the difference between those is the subsidized loan does not accrue interest while your student is in school. The unsubsidized loan will. So if you're looking to borrow just one, that subsidized loan is going to be the best, right? Now, as you mentioned, there is a cap on those. So the federal government does cap by grade level how much a student can borrow. So if you want to borrow in excess of that, that's where we would look at the additional loan types. You mentioned a Parent Plus loan. So I'll say a little bit about what that is. A Parent Plus loan is another federal loan. It's not applied for through the FAFSA. It has a separate application, the Parent Plus loan application. And that is a loan that the parent would borrow on behalf of the student. So repayment would fall on the parent in that case. And the amount that they can borrow is up to the student's cost of attendance. And that's per student. So in your case, because you have multiple students, you could do like a loan for both, right? It's totally up to you what you want to do. But with those Parent Plus loans, you have more range of how much you can borrow with that. With both of these loan types, the good thing about the federal loans is they are going to be deferred while your student is in school. That goes for both the student direct loans and the Parent Plus loan. So what that means is you are not responsible for paying toward those loans while your student is in school. If you want to, you can. That's totally fine. You can go in and elect to make payments whenever if you have a Christmas bonus come through and you want to throw it there, you can make payments like that while your student is in school. You're just not required to. And then once your student graduates, they go into their 6-month grace period where that deferment is extended. Then they go into repayment. That would be both the direct loans and the Parent Plus loans. There are also private loan funding, but those are outside of the federal government. They traditionally have some more rigid repayment terms, and the interest rates are a little bit higher on those. So if you can look into the federal options, those are going to be the better loan types, but private loans are definitely still an option for you. You mentioned the student loan forgiveness. I'll touch on that for just a minute. That's a really sticky thing right now, just because most things that are getting passed aren't actually going into law. So there's a lot of news coming out about student loan forgiveness, but none of it is actually going into practice. It's more just things that people are proposing. There are a couple of programs that do allow for loan forgiveness, like the public service loan forgiveness. If your student was to work in a public service position, they could get their loans forgiven if they work long enough, but generally that's really the only loan forgiveness program that is going on right now. The other ones have been proposed, but not actually written into law.
And
That
then
was
just,
a ton of information. Are there any follow-up questions?
just real
on
quick,
that?
it's really important that you all continue to work with your admissions counselor as well, because we want to, in conjunction with the Student Financial Services Office, we want to try to make this as affordable and as feasible as possible. So if there are options or things that we can do outside of the FAFSA, different scholarship opportunities, whatever the case of the grants and things like that, we will do our best to help with that. So just make sure that you stay in contact with us in the Office of Admission as well. I want to go ahead and get to the next question. Tim, I know you have one, and then I have
I know your counselor. He's all right.
My question is about decision day, May 1st. So with FAFSA and all these, it's taking forever just to get anything done, and with the corrections not being open yet, so you cannot even add colleges to the FAFSA. Decision day still May 1st? And can you walk us through how decision day works on what are you supposed to do?
I was actually going to say one of our admissions friends will be better.
Yeah, geez. May 1st is a nice, sorry, I'm like making it awkward for you. May 1st is a nice thing. It's super sweet if everybody could make up their mind and decide that day. That's sort of the traditional thing. And we've never been that hardcore about it, even before this. So if you love us and you know you're going to come here, go ahead and deposit now. I have to say that. But, decision day, no one's going to really be May 1st because of this. So I don't want you to have all that kind of pressure. It'd be nice to get it figured out and off the table. But, June 1st is cool. But honestly, if you know you're coming, that's when you make the decision. If you're comfortable with the financial package, that's when you make the decision. Some people already have, but we don't have well, sorry, you didn't decide on May 1, so you can't come here. We're not going to do that. Most schools aren't. Really. Maybe some of your big Ivy Leagues or those kinds of things. But, so we're kind of pushing towards June 1st with a question mark. So don't get too sweaty about that one.
So adding on to that, because of some students received like merit scholarships, is that not going to be off the table like May 2nd?
No, right, no, absolutely not. Here's the thing I want to say about all of this, right? With this, what we've called and coined the FAFSA fiasco. That's
the unsweary version.
Right? There's another word that goes in there too. We keep that in-house though. With all of this, right, we understand what you all are going through. And as I mentioned, I have a daughter in college and one on the way. So I get it from not only a work perspective, but a parent perspective as well. And so what we've tried to do in the Office of Admission and Student Financial Services is just be in it with you all. We don't have all the answers. We don't know exactly what the government is going to do. We don't have deadlines and things like that. But what we can do is provide you all with the information that we have. We can keep communication open. We can be there almost up to the tune of, once we do get those award letters and we get those students packaged, in the Office of Admission, we just sent out a survey recently to change our hours. So we sent out a survey to see when you all wanted to meet with us and when you need us to be available. So instead of us saying, no, we're here 8 to 4, you come and see us or else, we'll change and adjust to be there for you so that when you do get this information, you can have it readily available for you, because we know it's a really big decision. So even with the May 1st deadline, some schools may say, deadline or else, or, decide or else. We're not doing that here. I'm a parent. We all are parents. We get it. Like, if you can, like Tim said, if you know you love us, then come on in. If you're still thinking and deciding, that's fine. Take your time. We'll just sit and cry in the background. But we're not going to hold you to a May 1st deadline.
And we don't want, you could wait till August 1st. We don't want you to do that, but you could, and we're never going to take away your merit scholarships. That's not going to happen. So it's really a FAFSA thing. Your merit scholarships are already in place, and whatever you've got so far, you're going to continue to get, unless your student, likes 1.0 GPAs and things like that. Those will stay in place every year.
I wanted to add on a quick note on that in regard to the FAFSA aid eligibility. If you need to make corrections to your FAFSA, we look at the initial FAFSA submission date to determine your eligibility for like time-sensitive aid. So if you have to make a correction or add a school code or something like that, we will still package you based on the initial date that the FAFSA was submitted. So if you have to take additional time to get the FAFSA to us, that's okay. You won't necessarily be out of the range of eligibility for certain aid for that reason. So I know that's been a concern as well, so that's okay. We'll get it when we get it, and we'll process it the same way.
Hi, everyone. I have a quick question. So I know you guys, the school needs to know if our student is coming. But what happens if we think we are going to get help from FAFSA and we put a deposit down and then we don't get that much help as we were expecting and we cannot cover the full payment? Is there a way for the school to return that deposit, or is all gone?
I'll take that one. So that's the reason why we want you to be sure, right? And we're saying, we'll extend the deadline and give you time to make that decision, because in most cases, the deposit is final. So I would suggest taking your time on the front end. And again, there's no rush, right? We don't want to put any pressure on you. And I'll just be honest with you, because, this is a safe space for us, and if I'm not here next year, you'll know why. It'll be your fault because you told someone I said this. But a lot of those deadlines and things are really for the school. Those deadlines are for us to understand what we have coming in, right? You have to think about it like as a business as well. Like, we need to know how many faculty we need to hire, or we need to know, are we going to be able to keep the lights on next year? We need to know all of these things. So a lot of those deadlines are for us to say, okay, we have kind of an idea of what we have coming up for the next year. But we're not going to, but that's not us. We're not going to put pressure on you that way. But again, if I'm not here next year, you'll know why. So don't tell anybody I said that. But yeah, just
it's
take your time.
It's streaming on the internet and being recorded.
I know.
And so you can do a cost payment breakdown, do all this stuff, and figure all that out before you deposit. So don't feel like, no, do that first, then we'll sit down and stay till 7 o'clock or whatever with you. We want to get this stuff figured out, and all of us are interested in making you as comfortable as we can with what the numbers are. And we're not also going to kind of do smoke and mirrors like, surprise, we forgot to add this fee, it's another $1,000 or whatever. You're welcome. Other questions out there? Oh, but the streamers, they got to know what you're saying.
How do any of these smaller, more local scholarships that come out after June 1st, how do those get applied to the cost of admission at a later date?
That's a good one. External.
So the external scholarships, it all depends on the organization, because it is outside. So you guys can go ahead and start whenever. It's really just up to the organization that's providing that scholarship. So there's really, if you already see one available, you can go ahead and apply for it. You don't have to wait until the student has started school. Of course, even if the student finds a scholarship while they're attending school, they can still apply for it. It's just really up to the external scholarship of their deadline, what requirements they ask for. But essentially, when a student applies for that external scholarship and let's say they get approved for it, typically they send that organization, they send us the scholarship check. If they do that, you guys can always call us to know where to send it, because please make sure they send it to our office, because the address for the school is for many departments, so they have to make sure on the envelope it says Office of Student Financial Services, and then the 190 South Prospect Avenue. And when that scholarship organization is sending that check, make sure they include the student's number, because we're going to get that check and we're not going to know who that check is for. So please make sure that you let the organization know the number of the student and let them know the correct address. But really with external scholarships, it just really depends on the organization, but student they can already start looking into it. They don't have to wait until they start school. I would recommend on our website, actually, we have an external scholarship sources page. I would highly recommend looking into it. On there, there's like FastWeb, which is a search engine for scholarships, and students can even filter out what type of scholarship they're interested, because not all of them are like based on grades. Some of them can be based on like talent, maybe like something like bowling, if they're very artistic. Because out there, many people want to give scholarships as much as they can, so I would recommend doing that. So that's one way of searching external scholarships. Other ways that I would recommend when it comes to outside scholarships from the university is looking into your community. What I mean by that is if you're involved in a church, ask if they have some type of scholarship within their church. Even in your county, I know for like DuPage County, at one point they had a DuPage County scholarship list that was specifically for residents that were in that county. And typically with those, a lot of students, students have a little bit of a higher chance of obtaining that scholarship because it's very more limited to just those living within that residency than compared to, like, let's say a big scholarship, McDonald's, for example. That's a big nationwide. Sure, they might offer a big 20,000 scholarship, but a lot of students are going to apply for it. And when it comes to smaller scholarships within the community, a student's going to have a higher chance. Majority of you have students, high school students, so I would even check within the high schools to see if they offer any scholarships as well. So just really anything through your employer, even ask if they offer any type of scholarship or even something called like tuition remission.
Reimbursement. Remission or tuition reimbursement.
Oh, tuition reimbursement, sorry. But anything of that sort, because you never know what options there may be out there. It doesn't hurt to ask. Just really is more asking. But essentially, that's how the process of how outside scholarships, they typically don't give that money to the student. They send it to us. But it's never too late to start looking into that.
And real talk with that, sometimes it requires some work. You're going to have to do some applications, possibly. It's worth making phone calls. I tell a lot of my students, some of those things don't yield, some of them do. But sometimes, you look at it and like, well, that doesn't sound like I qualify for that, so I'm not going to bother. That's what everybody's hoping for. Although some of these organizations have budgets they have to spend in their scholarship pool, and they may not have spent them. This year has been kind of weird because everybody's been a little slow to the draw at every step of this process, partly because FAFSA, partly just we're really late in what our typical cycle is. So there may be scholarships still sitting there in weird organizations like the Knights of Columbus or the Kiwanis Club, and you're thinking, well, I'm not anything to do with the Kiwanis Club, but what if the Kiwanis Club's budget is they're still looking for folks? Another thing I tell students is kind of exploit anything unique about you or your family background. That could be ethnicity, like she had mentioned, skills or tech or talents. Think about organizations that are looking to tell a story about the students they support. And it takes some time and thought. The problem with seniors in high school is they don't have a lot of time and they don't have a lot of extra application time. But it's worth kind of turning over all the stones, to help foot the bill a little bit. Every little bit helps. Other questions? Oh, and yes, we do have a couple other things that our counselors will be talking to you about when you do those fantastic cost breakdown appointments. All right, well, I think it's 9:30, right? Yeah, so why don't we start a little early. Thank you to our super friends from SFS. Don't be mean to them, it's not their fault. Why don't we take a 5-minute, 10-minute walk stretch? There's coffee downstairs, the restrooms are down, and there's stairways there. There's stairways here on either corner. But in the back end, there's some refreshments if you like. And then we'll be back here in 5 with a new panel with some of our current students and one of our current students' parents. And you can hear a little bit more about us.
Thank you all.
If you have more private or specific questions, Aurelia and I are going to hang out up front for a little while.
A minute. I just wanted to give you a heads up. We're going to get started in about a minute. If anybody found any keys, we're missing, someone left their keys in one of the pews. So keys, everyone found, hey, whose are these? They're not yours. Bring them up to the front table up there. We're going to go ahead and get the panel rolling. If my financial aid friends would go to the lobby up there, if you still would like to chat with them, just so we don't have to compete with that sizzling information. Welcome back. How was your ride? Now, this is the fun panel. Not to say that SFS isn't fun, or those folks are fun, but this is an opportunity for you to hear from some of our current students and one parent. You know, Ambrosia, as you saw, was our keynote speaker, and she's also our graduating student. She's been involved in doing this panel with me these last several years, as has her mother. So this is our last ride, our last go-around for that. So they're gonna, you know, they have some things they want to tell you and share with you, and then I've got some fantastic other students who've gone through this process before. So I'm going to have each of them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about where they're from and why they're here. And then if you have questions, I've got Christina Black here, or we call her KB, with the Phil Donahue mic, so she'll run out and put the microphone in your face. Just remember, we're streaming this live on the interwebs, so we want to have your question kind of come through on there too. But we'll go ahead and turn it over to Mateo.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mateo Gomez Bedoya. I'm a first-generation student. I was a part of the American Dream Scholarship. I'm a sophomore at Elmhurst University. I'm a double major in secondary education and Spanish, and a double minor in Italian and ESL. I'm the president-elect for Kappa Delta Pi, which is the Honor Society of Education, in the honors program, in the Foreign Languages Honor Society, and I play soccer, so I'm really involved here. One thing, why did I come to Elmhurst University? I came to Elmhurst University, the most important factor for me was the financial factor, and I believe that it's important for parents to know that in the financial package, the first letter that you get, that does not have to be the amount of money that your student can get. He can continue, or she can continue, to seek opportunities for themselves. I didn't get a full ride my freshman year, but my second semester of freshman year, I got a full ride. My sophomore year, I got a full ride. And I'm still seeking opportunities to continue to have a full ride my junior year. So I would tell parents to make sure that their students are advocating for themselves, going to the financial office, talking to Megan, talking to the president of the financial office. We work with a lot of different organizations, ACI, Association of Colleges of Illinois, that provides alternative scholarships, as they were talking about before. So that's one little thing that I would like to emphasize today.
Thank you. My name is Alejandra Galvan. I am a sophomore here at Elmhurst University. I was the recipient of the American Dream Scholarship in 2022. I am now double majoring in Spanish and psychology, and I'm minoring in French. I'm also a part of the orchestra here on campus. That was a big reason that I wanted to come here, was so I could play the violin while not being like a music major. I'm also in Phi Kappa Phi, the Honor Society. I'm in the Social Science Honor Society. I'm a part of the Honors Program, and I'm a part of Psychology Club as well. And as Mateo said, Alpha Mu Gamma, which is the Foreign Language Honor Society. So there's always a bunch of different opportunities that students can be a part of to show their academic intelligence, or just other aspects that they would like to share about themselves, maybe certain hobbies. So I also really want to emphasize that today as well. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jade Villalobos. I am a junior here at Elmhurst, and I'm actually a transfer student. So I transferred over from Harold Washington College, which is back in downtown Chicago. And I am currently majoring in digital marketing communications. One of the things that I'm involved in at school is being a student ambassador. So I give tours to new students and families that decide to come to Elmhurst. And I also work in the front desk at the Office of Admission. one of the reasons that I picked Elmhurst was just the fact that I enjoyed like the small classroom sizes and just the fact that I can just like have a one-on-one conversation with my professor and just, establish a relationship with them.
I am Gintiana Italari. I am Ambrosia's mom. And as an educator myself, I'm a strong believer on the finding the right university and the right placement for your child is the key to success. So I'm here today, and I'm happy to share with you our journey through these 4 years at Elmhurst, and I'm open to any questions that you'll have for me and for Ambrosia too. Thank you.
And hello, I'm Ambrosia Italari. I'm currently a senior and will be graduating in the next month. So I'm a biology major, and I do have 3 minors in chemistry, business administration, and medical humanities. And the next step for me is medical school. I'm also been very involved on campus starting since my freshman year. I'm currently vice president for the Phi Kappa Phi Academic Honor Society, vice president for Student Government Association, like in Habitat for Humanity's Executive Board, in the honors program, very involved. I've been on a study abroad too, so if anyone has any questions about study abroad opportunities, we have so many avenues like UK, Europe, Singapore, like there's a lot of things to look into for that as well.
Excellent. So if you all have questions, be sure to raise your hand. You're welcome to take the mic from us. But the one I like to have them start with is I'd like each of you to kind of dream back to when you were out there, or Mom, when you were literally out there watching this panel 4 years ago. What didn't you know then that you know now that you would like to share with them? What piece of advice would you give that you've learned since you've joined us here? Ambrosia, you got the mic, so you don't get time to think about it. Just go.
So what I learned as I became a student here at Elmhurst was just that to embrace the process. Like I know it's like a new step, and for a lot of parents, if this is your first child, I can understand that it's like nerve-wracking choosing the right place for them. But like choosing this university was the best thing that I could have done for my academic journey. And so I feel like you need to just trust the process, and also trust the admissions counselors because they're here to help you. And they are so approachable and friendly, and they want what's best for you.
You could do it from a parent perspective. It's okay. But I know she's got a spiel she's going to want to give you, so we'll hold off.
Well, when I first decided to apply to Elmhurst, one of the first major options that I was thinking of was obviously the finances, and coming from first generation student perspective, and also my parents who are immigrants that didn't go to college, there wasn't any way for them to kind of I guess advise me in the college process. So that was something that I had to navigate on by myself. And while it was a bit nerve-wracking as well, because FAFSA didn't give me a lot of money, so it was hard trying to find scholarships out there. But I didn't give up. I'm I don't want to be a financial burden to my parents, so I'm gonna keep searching and searching until I find scholarships. And my hard work did pay off at the end because I did end up receiving a full ride to come here. So just know that the work that your children and any family members that you have coming to the school, the work that they're putting in, at the end it's gonna be rewarded.
I completely agree. This is the school where I found the most resources for students, even just the panels that they have here today and moving forward. They used to have things on Zoom when I was applying, so they're always going to be reaching out in different ways that they can help. My admissions counselor was a really big part of my process, and I was really nervous because I felt like I couldn't ask them questions, but that's what they're there for. So as soon as you get their email, you can contact them with any of the questions that they have. And my counselor responded really quickly, and in other people's experience, I know they had the same problems as well. So then they would just reach out and ask those questions, and they would be able to connect with them. And then once you do start your time here at Elmhurst, if you do choose this school, there's a bunch of different things that you can get from here on campus. So you're always going to have different things, and your first year seminar class, it's going to be a bunch of resources for how to navigate the different things that you can take advantage from here on campus. We have free tutoring that you can use Or there's like study rooms, and we have our wonderful library here that I love so much, and like study abroad, like Ambrosia said. So all of those things I didn't know before going to a college, and I didn't know that I would value so much. So just like understanding that that's an important aspect of your academic journey, not just necessarily the classes, but the other things that you can benefit from the school as well.
Okay, I'm gonna go off of what Alejandra said. I'm gonna talk about three things: academics, studying abroad, and research. The amount of resources that this school provides is incredible. First, with academics, as Alejandra said, we have the Learning Center. Once your students become freshmen, they're gonna have required courses that they might not like. Biology, chemistry, different courses, right? We have tutors, upperclassmen, that help them for free. They only have to do an appointment, and then they go there for free. My personal experience, I had a really hard English class. I'm an immigrant from Colombia, came 6 years ago. Really tough English class. I was there the entire time in the Learning Center, the entire semester. I got an A. So that can tell you that they truly help. Research, we have a lot of different scholarships, not only through the honors program, but we are a Hispanic serving institution. We got a $3.7 million grant last year, and the scholarship is not only for Latinos, it's for everyone. And those scholarships go towards studying abroad, conducting research, unpaid internships. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is studying abroad. We have the Office of Global Engagement in the basement of the library. Your students can go study abroad for free. I just came back from Puerto Rico, and I didn't pay anything out of pocket because of the amount of scholarships I got. So those are some of the resources that Elmhurst University provides once they become students here.
Excellent. So I'm going to send that microphone right back to Mrs. Italari, because she's got a great bit of advice for parents in the room.
Yeah, so I'm going to speak to the parents' perspective. Making the decision about attending this college was kind of a long process for us because our child, Ambrosia, was in a specific program. It was 4+4. Then we needed to make our mind for undergrad, what school was she going to choose. We had plenty of options in front of us. Then we went and we looked at different schools, like to name a few, we visited IIT, we visited Benedictine, we visited St. Xavier's, and of course, Elmhurst was one of our top schools to visit, and we came in here, and it was like, oh, this is the right school for us. We had a lot of help from our wonderful admission counselor, was Megan Wada, and she was so patient with us. She explained everything to me, and I was a nervous parent, you know. That was our only child. We haven't had any previous experiences into US. We come from a different country. So this process was so new to us. It felt so overwhelming at the beginning. But I know we couldn't have done it without the great help that we had from the admission counselors here at Elmhurst. Elmhurst is a great school, and in our mind, we did not want our child to be in a big school where she could get lost, or to be just a number, you know, and to be taught by assistant professors. We did not want that for our child. So at Elmhurst, we found everything we're looking for academic-wise. Those are small classrooms, and there's a one-to-one personal approach with professors and students. So professors here are so helpful and so open to make your child succeed. And everything else, there's so much going on in this small community. It might look like a small school, but trust me, it's so much going on for commuters and for dormers, you know? And I would give a piece of advice, like join the social media to see what's going on. As a parent, you can have access too. There's a Facebook page for parents. I know there's Instagram pages for a lot of organizations and everything that's going on in here. So join them, and with your own eyes, you can see how much is going on in this small, tight-knit community. And here, every child is important. Every student is very important. So your child is going to have that attention that he or she needs for the full success. There's a lot, like really a lot going on. And I encourage they can join the honors program too. That's very, very important because the honors program opens a lot of doors and opportunities for your students. So as a parent, we're very happy that we did the right choice for our daughter, and she's really flourishing here. She's got so many leadership skills that I know she wasn't gonna have that opportunity in a bigger school, you know? We know that she's all set now to go to the next step of her journey, to medical school. She starts in August. So we're very, very confident that she'll do well. And all that came based on what she gained here at Elmhurst University. And Elmhurst University will always have a special spot in our heart.
Thank you very much. I've already had Ambrosia promise me that I can get a slot on her roster when she becomes a doctor. Insurance turned me down just now, so we'll see what happens there. So another great question I would love for students to address here, in sort of the same vein of what we just did, but I'd like you, and this is better for the students to hear, but I'd like the parents to hear a little bit about, were you surprised about what was different about going to college from what you were used to at high school or even community college, Jade? How is it different?
I guess I'll go first. Well, for sure, Elmhurst was a bit different than community college in terms of like the setting, because like my community college was like straight in the heart of downtown, and like, you know, I had a big transition coming into the suburbs, so like, you know, it's definitely quieter and definitely much safer, because, you know, in downtown it is a little bit more but over here, like, there's really nothing that goes on in terms of like violence or nothing bad. It's like very, very calm, and I just really enjoy that piece because, you know, you're able to study properly, and, you know, there's like nothing really like bothering you. And also, like, on top of that too, like, something that was like different for me is that because like I was one of the students that got affected by the pandemic, I did all of my community college classes through online, so I never had that experience to have like an in-person, like, you know, college class until I came here. And it was a bit nerve-wracking because I'm like, it's a different school, I don't know how it's gonna be when they teach in person, but honestly, it's not that bad. I really enjoyed the classroom dynamic. You know, it's like max like 15 or 20 students with the professor, and, you know, it's kind of like, you know, in high school, you know, just ask questions in class and the professor's just gonna answer your question, and, you know, just establish that, you know, that bond with them, and, you know, you're pretty much all set to go.
Something I never expected, which is definitely more because Elmhurst is a smaller school, is how close you get to being able to talk to your professors. I know some students have their professors like phone numbers just because they're so sweet, and like Ambrosia said, we don't have any like teaching assistants, so it's all taught by the teachers. And once you get more into your major classes, the classes become a lot smaller, so that like setting is almost a lot more like supportive for everybody. It's not competitive at all. It's very much like a community that you build within your own like classes that you take. And I've always loved that because that encourages me to do better as a student. So I've always really like enjoyed that aspect of it. Also, another big thing, which might be common sense for some people, but definitely wasn't common sense for me, you get to pick your own schedule. That's a huge thing. Definitely for time management, it's something to keep in mind because you are in charge of when you start your day and when you end your day. So definitely, you know, understand your own system that you have in your head, like when you like waking up, when you like going to bed. We have night classes that end at like 10 p.m. I'm in one right now, and it works for me, but it wouldn't work for everybody else. So keep that in mind as you're picking your schedule because that's what you're gonna have to stick to for at least that whole semester. So it's definitely a lot on your own, like your own part, knowing what you can handle, being sure to have breaks so you can eat, that's a big thing, and so you can do homework in between or even spend time with your friends as well.
I think going off of what Alejandra said, I think students have to have a balance between academics and their social life. When they're in high school, they're in a setting from 7 to 3, they're in the same building, right? But in college, it's way different. You may have 2 classes in the morning, you may have a 3-hour gap, then maybe you'll have another class. So if you're a commuter, you have to figure that out. Are you going home? Are you bringing your lunch? All those type of things are questions they have to be asking themselves. We have night classes, those are very helpful. You only come once a week. So instead of coming 2-3 times a week for a class, you only come once. So figuring out the schedule and balancing out academics and their social life is important. I would say that, like in high school, students can get involved. As we said, we have more than 80+ clubs, and we have honor societies that they will be inducted into once they start their major classes and become upperclassmen. So I think that's pretty important as well.
Ambrosia, you got anything to add there?
Also, another thing that I felt like when I came into Elmhurst University, I was actually really surprised by how many different research opportunities are available for students to partake in. You do not have to be just a STEM major to get involved in research. Students, like if they conduct research with a faculty professor, which is so easy to do, you just talk to them, give out your idea on what you're interested in. You could even attend conferences at the national level and present your poster, and it gives you like a valuable aspect on learning research analysis and presentation skills. Also, what Mateo was saying about clubs and involvement, we do have over 100 different clubs and organizations on campus. And so there's so many things that you could be interested in joining. But also, if you see something that you would like to start, like if there's a club that you wish was on campus and it's not there yet, it's as easy as finding a professor, 5 other friends, and you could start your own club on campus. And also, I did want to say, for social media, I highly recommend following the Office of Admissions Instagram page with lots of information about what's going on campus, but also the Elmhurst University OSI page. It's called EU OSI, and they show all the events that are happening every single day on campus. And there's 3 to 4 events happening almost every single day.
Nice. I was giving a tour last night. Friday night at 5 o'clock, I had a pair of parents who wanted to see the school. The student didn't come with, but the parent really wanted to do a deep dive on some of the different departments outside of the chosen major, the students looking at music. So we ended up going to the chemistry department of all places because the father was really interested to see it. And I was like, really? All right. And we walk up there, and it's 5 o'clock on a Friday, and Dr. Evan is there working with a student in a spectrometer room doing research one-on-one. So one of our professors was staying late on a Friday, which I think is kind of cool and kind of demonstrates what Ambrosia's talking about. That's a unique thing. You're not going to get research opportunities as an undergraduate student at a larger institution. So yay, small schools. So you also brought up activities and all the fun things that's going on. So what I'd like you to do is kind of do a highlight reel for parents. Each of you pick something you've done or been to that's a fun activity that you want people to know about, and tell us why it was awesome.
Yes, so the President's Ball is one of my favorite activities, one of my favorite events that they host on campus. It's kind of like a prom where you get to dress up, wear your best suit, wear your best dress, and it's so fun. They have a DJ, they have a karaoke bar. They also have they have different songs playing, and it's a great chance to dance, have fun, and also see your friends and hang out together.
I would say, as a parent, what I've witnessed, since this was our daughter's last year here at Elmhurst, we decided we're going to pop up and see how the homecoming looks like. There's a homecoming bash going on at the very last night. That was beautiful. Art of the state of the art. We had those drones flying this year. We
Yes.
saw it. There was oh my gosh, like a parade, like a Chicago parade. So, and they had the huge bonfire going on, and there was food all over, and the students were having so much time. We were like, oh my gosh, this is really good, even for parents to come and see, not just for the students.
Yes, we don't have an official parents' weekend. We always forget to tell everyone that homecoming is kind of also unofficially parents' weekend. So that was the Friday night of homecoming weekend. You're all welcome to come to that. We have a tent. This year we did a drone display. We did fireworks one year. We always have a bonfire. And then the next day there's the parade, and there's food trucks, and we have a bunch of inflatable things. So it's a fun thing to bring the whole family, as long as you can find parking. And then we'll have a football game probably. So it's a good time to come for homecoming weekend for sure.
Yeah, that's a must-see. I recommend it. And even the band that you had this year was superb. All the
Oh,
songs.
I didn't see the band, yes.
All the songs, and it was from our generation, what we liked. So, and the kids had fun too. You know, probably they might not have remember who sang that song. It was long ago, but it's really, really good. It's a must-see.
Cool.
I think like one of my favorite events that I did like so far in my career, like here at college, is definitely driving a Tesla for free. So there is a program that we have here called the Elmhurst Accelerator, which is like a program for students that are interested in like entrepreneurship and like business. And they had like an event where, you know, they were gonna bring out different Tesla models for students to drive. I was like, oh, like I'm scared that I'm gonna crash one, but I'm like, no, like, you know, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I'm like, if it's free, like, you know, I must go. And, you know, it was actually like really fun. So like, if your students do end up coming here, like, you know, encourage them to drive one out, because, you know, who knows if they might ever get the chance again.
None of those Teslas blew up that we knew about.
I also kind of want to add on homecoming. My favorite memory freshman year was when they had the zero gravity ride in the parking lot, like over here on this side, and it was like late at night that it stayed until, and I remember I got out of orchestra and I was like, oh my gosh, I missed it, but it was still there, so I went on there like several times, and you feel like really dizzy afterwards. But they always have like a roller coaster. They had a mechanical bull at the end of last year, which was really fun. They did like indoor roller skating. Like they always do different things for like the beginning of the year or the end of the year, and those are always really fun.
I'm gonna go more broad. Traveling and the amount of traveling opportunities I've gotten since I came to Elmhurst. Because of sports, because of academics, because of the honors program, because of research. I've been to Iowa, Texas, Washington, D.C., California. So I've been to many places, and I've enjoyed my time there doing research, playing soccer, doing different things, right, with the honors programs in the Holocaust Museum. So there are a lot of different things that students can get involved here and travel the world, travel the U.S., so pretty cool.
That's the first time I've heard someone excited to go to Iowa. That's awesome. Neat. Just for my own 2 cents, as I mentioned in the beginning, I am the fine arts counselor, so I have a huge amount of bias towards our art shows and music concerts. There's tons and tons and tons of those. Right here in this space, we have a jazz festival, orchestra plays, the wind ensembles. They're all worth seeing, really top quality stuff. Our plays and musicals are fantastic as well. That's kind of my favorite place because, full disclosure, I was a theater major. But my favorite thing, you know what it is? Anyone want to guess? None of you know. The dance concerts are fantastic. We do one every semester. They're super, super fun. Everybody goes. They're usually 2 hours of solid, student-directed choreography. The next one's coming up in the beginning of May. Don't miss it. You can, if you want to know, I'll send you a streaming link to the YouTube of it. It's really, really great. Awesome dance concerts. So, sorry, I had to put a little commercial in there. Pause. Any parents out there, has this generated any questions? Is there something specific? All the way in the back. KB, run. That's not exactly running. She's coming to you now. I really wanted running, but that's okay. You met in the middle. I appreciate your compromise.
Good morning. I think this is a different story that you will hear because I have a daughter who will be graduating next month, May 18, 11:45 in the morning, nursing program.
Oh.
She started here in Elmhurst. When we are looking for a college or university, I told my daughter, I am so sorry, I am not against it, but I told her no community colleges, because if you're going to be in the nursing program, you want to go straight down to the 4-year course, which is the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Because I know, because when I went to school for nursing, I had a hard time transferring to the university to get my bachelor's. So that's what my advice for my daughter. My daughter only chose 2 schools to apply, Loyola, and then after Loyola, she found Elmhurst. Loyola is a nice school, but they have a very different nursing program. So, so we end up going here in Elmhurst. The moment we stepped in Elmhurst, especially my daughter, she already told to me, to her father, and to her brother, Mom, this is the school I fell in love. This is where I want to go for college, for my nursing. So right after that, she told me, Loyola is out of the list. We went so straight down to Elmhurst. And here, 4 years of her life was amazing. I know that. I saw that because I was with her, all of us with her. Every event in the school, we are here with all the parents, the students, and everything. She joined different clubs and everything. She's in the OSL program and everything like that. The most wonderful thing that happened to her when she was here over the 4 years of her life was when she studied abroad. That was last August, fall of August of last year. She went to Ireland. She studied there for 1 full semester, which is the fall semester. She had the best time of her life. We visited her there. We went to see her during the Thanksgiving break. We went to see her in Ireland, and then after that, we went to London for a quick trip. So we also had fun. We saw the university. We saw the school. University of Dublin. That's where she went for that 1 semester. It was a very nice university. The apartment where she stayed with her friends, it was amazing. It was good. And then she learned the life of being away from her family for 4 months. She learned cooking, everything, washing dishes, groceries, and everything like that. She learned how to commute by herself, the train, the bus. So when we went there, we saw that too. We commute, we run, we took the bus and everything like that. And then the most important thing that we told my daughter, explore the world. So that's what she did. She went to the different countries around the area. She went to Italy, Milan, Barcelona. She visited different countries in that 4 months of her life. We told her, don't worry about the money. I know money is tough, but me and Dad will be here to help you, to support you all the way throughout. You don't need to worry about anything. So that's why we told her always, if you can travel, travel, have fun, live your life to the fullest because you are young. And when you become a nurse, it will be tough for you to travel and everything like that. So now, in May of 18, next month, she will be graduating. I am so proud of my daughter. And for 4 years, she studied so hard. I know how hard she studied. She studied 12 hours, 14 hours every day. She goes to the library every Sunday here in Elmhurst. She wakes up early, she studies here, and goes back home night because she studied 14 hours. That's how nursing tough is. But she made it. She did it because of her love for nursing and love for medical field. And now, one thing I want to tell you, my son is coming here too. He already committed, and he is also taking the nursing program. And he, and aside from that, he was also given the opportunity by Elmhurst University to be in the track field and cross country. So by August, I will be seeing my son running around the area and going to different, different state or, everything like, because he runs in high school, so, and he loves running. So I am so glad that Elmhurst University took him to also be in the track program and cross-country program. And so I'm so proud to tell you, my second child will be here in Elmhurst. And Elmhurst is a very nice university, very calm. Everybody's so nice. From the admission, everything, all the help that you need, all the resources that you need, they will give it to you and everything like that. With financial thing and everything like that, it's tough, but we It's always on the side. Our most important thing is our kids will be happy, and I know they are happy, especially my daughter. If you will get the chance to talk to her, Elmhurst is down up there on her mind. And thank you for the opportunity. And now my son will be here another 4 years of his life.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that bonus endorsement. That was amazing. Someone pay her $1. Speaking of track and field, there is a track and field event happening on campus after this. So if you want to go see people running here today, we will be that'll be going on out there after this ceremony. And as far as that study away opportunity, that is a big important part of our kind of mission as a university. We want to help create global citizens, as it says right in the website. And that department is the Office of Global Engagement. So if your student has those interests to study abroad and have those kinds of amazing experiences, I think that particular program is specific for nursing students in Dublin. But there are a lot of other opportunities to do that, both semesters, J-terms, which is our January term, summer things. One of my trips I've always wanted to go on is in June. They usually do a hiking trip in the Basque Mountains in Spain and France. But there's also, we partner with a lot of other universities. And if your student has a particular interest, I really want to go to Korea, we'll help them find a program and support them. One of the big surprises, and I want to talk about this later about me being a first-generation student. I had no idea that was even a thing, and it just sounded so expensive to me as a student, and I didn't really pursue it. It was like I just rule it out. But you'll find it isn't necessarily, depending on where you go, as bad as it seems. So I encourage your students to sit down or go to our, we have international recruitment fairs where you can see what kind of trips we do, early on in each semester. So, explore it, don't be afraid of it. It is a really great opportunity like she just described. You had a question right there, KB. Oh, I'm getting the time thing.
Just got the wrap, huh?
Yeah.
My question's for Mateo. You mentioned you were an athlete. I have daughters that are going to be playing golf this year, and they're also going to be doing a double major with music education. There's some nerves on their side about that balance, and I'd like to understand, as a freshman, how did you find that overwhelming with practice, the new schedule, getting adjusted here on campus and all that, and what advice would you have for incoming freshmen who are going to be doing a double major and playing athletics as well?
I had a very positive experience my freshman year. So I play soccer for Elmhurst, and I'm a double major and a double minor in secondary education and Spanish, double minor in Italian and ESL. Balancing out freshman year is not that tough because of the amount of resources they have here. She will not be in the School of Education her freshman year. She has to apply to the School of Education towards the end of her freshman year. She'll get accepted her sophomore year, and that's when she starts her career in the School of Education. But balancing out sport and academics is not that bad because we have 500 plus athletes that do it, right? I would say something really important is sleeping, eating, and making time to have a social life. A lot of times you might be so focused in academics or, I have to train and I have to train extra so I can get in the field. But yeah, you have to take your time, relax sometimes, have some nice conversations with friends, go out to eat with friends, do those type of things, right? But balancing out the schedule, it's not that tough if they have good time management skills, right? But just big things, sleep, eat, just have some fun, study. So yeah.
Outstanding. Any last questions before we take a little break? Go ahead. Well, we're going to run the mic to you. In the yellow.
Back to you. I have a question for the parents. I'm a parent student. My son is already graduating next month too. I am so happy to be in this university. My daughter is applying, was admitting, is applied for this Dream Scholarship too. I agree with the person talking a few minutes ago. This is a beautiful university because it has a lot of opportunities. My son has 3 majors. He's going to be graduate with 3 majors and 1 minor. He go to study abroad too. He travel in the country. He's president for the Honor Society, Alpha Mu Gamma Cultural Honor Society for the university. He's very involved in the university, but I'm so happy to be here, but I have a question for the parent. My son applied late for this university. He want to go to DePaul. It was your first university, but DePaul can offer the package was not good for the financial and family budget, but your first major you want to study is only with a private school, but when his major is the first generation in this university. When he told me about the major is here, I said, why you don't apply Elmhurst? He came here before when leadership, summer camp leadership from high school. I already know this university, but I like the university, the campus too. When I tell him, why you don't apply Elmhurst? When he applied late, but he decided to go to first the Harper College because he don't want to ask for loans to study here, but this school offered a good packet. But the last minute when he was attending to Harper College, in the last minute I decided that he need come university because the money is no problem, because the more important thing is the dream they are going to get. But he is very study. He has a good job in the high school. The last minute we decide he come Elmhurst. But this decision was a key for the whole things he want to. He's right now. But the decision sometimes the parents we need to do. But only this I'm going to share the history. But we are here. But my question is for the parents. I know that Elmhurst has club for the parents. We can involve in this club. I would like to know if you share with us how it works.
If Elmhurst has any club for parents?
There is a lot there, so I think we didn't really follow what's your question?
Yeah, only if he's involving parent in the university, we can share something with the parent. We need sometimes we don't know how. I already attend with the event too in the university, but sometimes we don't know how the parents we can stay more active in the university.
How we can help as a parent for their decisions? That's the question.
No, my question is because
as a parent, okay.
How parents can get involved?
Yes, because the university has it's like a club or it's like an organization for parents organization?
No, I don't think there's a club for the parents or like a PTO, like you're in high schools, they have parent-teacher organizations. No, I don't think there is one for Elmhurst, but the way you can get involved is, like I said, join the social media. There's a parents group on Facebook for Elmhurst University. There's a way you can communicate with other parents through messaging or you get to know them, get acquainted with them, meet them sometimes. And you can talk, whoever your child has interests in classes with, you can be friends with the parents of his, students he is in classes with. But there is not such a club like that.
Okay.
Or Instagram, you can join the Instagram pages too, and you as a parent can witness what's going on. Like, to me, I'd look at, I have joined those Instagram pages, and I see that, oh, there's such activity going on tonight. Are you going to that activity? Or do you have time? Or we could go together on any game that's happening on the campus. So there are certain ways that you can be present in the campus and see what's going on or meet other parents. Okay. So through social media, it's mostly.
Okay.
All right.
That's my advice.
Okay. Thank you.
So we got to wrap it up. We're moving on to our next thing now. Sorry. But how about a big round of applause for our panel? Thank you so much. They'll be around after the ceremony because we're gonna move into our next phase as the students rejoin us. So if you need a refreshment, please do that now. And then soon we're gonna find out who the big winner is.
Yes. And one thing really quick for parents that are interested in finding out more about what's going on campus, for those of you in the room, if you have not done so already, join Campus ESP. You should have received an invitation for that. If we have your contact information, that will keep you in the loop as well via email about what's going on with students on campus, deadlines coming up, all of that good information.
Really quickly before the awards ceremony, we are missing a set of keys and a wallet, so if anyone has located that, either in the chapel or around campus.
All right, welcome back. Parents, I hope you enjoyed the sessions while your students were competing. And students, I hope you started to make new friends with your group mates and work together to change the world. So let's move to the most exciting part of our morning. I'm going to just digress here. It was not easy reviewing everything and picking a winner, so it took some time. So thank you for just being engaged and doing your best today. It really means a lot to us to see all of the really cool things that you have in your minds and that you could do here at Elmhurst. And I hope that whatever you've worked on today, actually, you bring that through with you to Elmhurst and make things happen. I definitely think this group is really going to go far and do well. So I wanted to kick off our award ceremony by introducing our 14th president, Dr. Troy Van Aken. Dr. Van Aken and his wife, Annette, are also first-generation students with the same characteristics that each of you possess: unwavering love for your family, hard work, and determination to succeed. He's not one to boast for himself, so I'm going to do that for him. So here's a little bit about Troy, as we call him. Prior to Elmhurst University, Dr. Van Aken served as president and professor of mathematics at Thiel University and in numerous roles at Albion College. Along with his extensive background in higher education, President Van Aken was a successful business entrepreneur and owned a number of technology companies. Please help me welcome Dr. Troy Van Aken.
Well, thank you. I don't have anything to do with the judging. I would have a hard time with that because one of the things that I ask when we operate here at the university is we treat all our students like our nieces and nephews. It's really an extension of, it takes a village to raise a child and what have you. And so we don't tuck you in at night when you come here. You got your own parents and some things like that, but we do want to be there for you, whether it be your performances. Some of you will be in athletic competitions. Sometimes you'll be in some clubs and some organizations. And the reason that I kind of take that approach is that my life has just been simply transformed by the power of education. As you heard in the introduction, my wife Annette and I are both first-generation college students. Her grandmother was from Cuba. Her grandfather was from Puerto Rico. I was given up as a child. And I was adopted by a wonderful family. We're just really, really poor. In fact, my father, who raised me, went bankrupt when I was in 11th grade and left a profound impact on me. And I can remember being not all that much younger than you, kind of looking in the mirror, a little bit sad, but saying to myself, whatever you're going to make of your life, you're going to make of your life. And so I was fortunate that God had given me, I was a bigger guy, I had a bright mind and some things like that. But it was hard. It was hard to work. I worked in a foundry during my senior year of high school. I worked third shift, which was awful tough, especially because I played three sports at the time. But there's nothing wrong with you taking advantage of whatever version of your American dream that you can have. Education, people that invested in me that I will never know through generous scholarships and things like that, transformed my life. My wife would tell you a very similar story. She also has a doctoral degree and teaches an early childhood education. But even our children, and my son Trey graduated from here in 2019 and is just getting ready to graduate from med school, even their lives are better because of the opportunities that their mother and I were provided. And so what I would just ask for the students here to think about is as you go to college, it's not just yourself. If you could take the metaphor of driving a car, if you would look in the rearview mirror, you would see your parents and your grandparents and other people who you may not even know who made some sacrifices. But take advantage of this opportunity. We do live with all the challenges in the world and even in our own country. We do live in a place where there are opportunities. And I know through my life, through my wife's life, and many students that I've worked with, that it doesn't matter what situation you were born into, or it doesn't matter what situation you're into at a particular moment in time, you can achieve great, great things. And so please know that that's the reason for this competition. We're looking forward to rewarding several of you.
Thank you, Troy. All right, hello. Students, you haven't been listening to me for the last hour and a half like your parents have been, so hi. My name is Tim Alberg. I'm the Associate Director of Affinity Populations here. This is the point where I want to recognize our dreamers, our American Dream students. No, I'm not going to announce the winner. I'm going to announce all of you. But I'm not going to sit here and say all your names. That's usually something I do. I'm going to tell you a really brief story. Have you noticed some of us are wearing these stickers that says, I am first? That's sort of how we're self-identifying as students who are, or were also first-generation college students. So I'm an admission counselor here, first and foremost. Some of you are my students, and I work with you. And I want you each to know that all of us want you to be here. That's our job. We're biased towards Elmhurst. That's what we do. But we really pride ourselves in going that extra mile. And something I'm going to ask of you students, and this is also true for parents, is that meet us halfway. Because I'm telling you, this is a new adventure. There's a lot of information to learn. I went away to college with zero support from my parents. They helped me with FAFSA. They didn't go to college. They weren't particularly interested in college. They wouldn't have been here with me at this event if this is me. They just didn't know. My dad yelled at me the day I got admitted at college. He's like, "You expect me to pay for this?" That was the day I got admitted at university, and so it became kind of my own thing. Now, I'm a good sort of self-starter. I figured things out for myself. I did okay. But what I wasn't good at was being a good self-advocate. I didn't ask the right questions at the right times. I didn't explore hard enough. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't do a lot of those things. Now, I didn't fail out of college. I did pass. But this reason is why I do this job, because I don't want that for you. I want you to be a good self-starter. I want you to ask questions. I want you to have permission to not feel dumb. If you don't understand something, ask. Ask your admission counselor. When you get here, ask your professors. Go to the Learning Center and ask the tutors. Ask for help. It'll get you the rest of the way. It's awesome to get a degree for your career. It's awesome to get a degree to get noticed on your resume and so forth. But it's still you. You're driving. You're the one who's making the decisions. You're the one who's taking charge. So I just want to make sure you hear that from somebody today. Be your best self-advocate. And if you're confused, ask. If you don't know after you ask again. Clarify. Don't worry about feeling stupid. All of you are turning 18. You are now adults. So the expectation at college is that you know and you might not. And that's okay. So be sure to be a good self. Great. And just take your first step forward. If you're an American Dream student, please stand up. Rise. Yes. Give a round of applause to all these fantastic American Dream students. You've worked hard to get to this point, and now you're going to begin your new adventure. And just so you know, one of you is going to be a big winner, but all of you have won something. My respect. And you're all going to get at least another $1,000 added to your American Dream scholarship. So everybody's going to get something. Congratulations. Ask questions. Take a bow, families. Did anyone actually bow? I looked down. Cool. Be seated. And now we find out the good news.
Whew. I always get a little chill when this event comes around each year. Whew. Like I said, it was really, really hard selecting winners. So let's see. I think we have our results that are in, and we'll have those come up to the front. Secured in our briefcase. Let's see those results. There's a lot of money in there. It's a lot of envelopes, too. So you all know that there are two prizes to give out today. There's the full tuition scholarship winner, as well as the second place $10,000 award. We also give out a group award and probably you're like, ooh, I wish I knew that beforehand. And usually we give out one group award. Sorry, Troy. This year, I had to give out two. I just had to. I had to because amazing things. I have to say, there's a common theme. There was a common theme around a lot of the group projects, and that's a cultural potluck. So I am down for all of those. Please get those moving here. I would love to attend all of those. But these two groups were neck and neck. We went back and forth in the judging room, pacing the floors, just discussing again, and then discussing again. So instead of choosing, why not go with two? The first group is a small group. Only 3 people in this group, but did equally as good of a job as the larger group that we chose as well. So group number 1, come on up. Kaylee Imoni, Estefania Camarillo, and Zach Hartwig. Your group award is worth, instead of a $1,000 scholarship, it will now be a $2,500 scholarship. So again, sorry, Troy, this group's a little bigger. It's like twice the size as group 1. Our next group winner is group number 13. Eduardo Vargas, Abriel Sanchez, Lee Scalf, Lutavia Smith, Andrea Sosa, and Yvonne Vasquez. Come on up. You know, with the financial aid fiasco this year, why not give away more money? Congratulations again, Group 1 and 13. Our second place award for $10,000 goes to Armani Smith. Congratulations, Armani. Are you ready for first place? Okay. Our full tuition American Dream scholarship winner is...
My name is Giannini, and I've been asked, what is my version of success?
For me, I was raised to believe that success is all of the goals that you set for yourself and have accomplished. Ever since I was a little girl, it has always been me versus me. For example, when I did dance, I would constantly think of the next move or turn to learn. Even through some frustration, I never stopped until I nailed it. Growing up, I set the goal to make the high school dance team. Before I knew it, I was competing on the team and was learning new skills every single day. I wasn't done yet. I wanted more. My success drove me to being more competitive, hungrier even. Ever since I was little, my parents always used to crack jokes with me and tell me I was faster than them. So, I tried out for the track team freshman year. I ended up making varsity and winning a lot for my team. I loved it. I loved the gold medals and I loved the recognition I was getting. I started setting more goals to be successful, like jumping higher in high jump and running faster in sprints. Although I was proud of my accomplishments, I'm not sure if I considered myself successful. There are so many others out there that danced more gracefully, ran faster, and jumped even higher than me. Every obstacle I accomplished, I was immediately looking for the next. Was I even truly happy with my success? One day it hit me. Success was not accomplishing my goals, but learning to appreciate all the moments working towards them. So there you have it. My definition of success is appreciating all the moments working towards your goals. I'm sure you have heard the saying, it's not the destination but the journey. It is absolutely true. There's a lot of life out there, but you will miss most of it if you're never living in the moment. Yes, winning those races felt great, but the practices with my best friends and the bus rides to the meets while laughing so hard that the water came out of our noses held a lot more joy in my heart. So remember, it is great to set goals for yourself, but make sure you're having a blast getting there. Thank you.
Giannity, come on up. Congratulations on winning our full tuition scholarship in the American Dream competition. And thank you all. Each of your scholarships is renewable for each year you're here at Elmhurst University. And I want to thank you all for being part of the Blue Jay family. It is such a pleasure to be with you all, again, learning about you, hearing your stories, and seeing your faces in the fall is such a gift to us. And you become part of the family. And as Tim was mentioning, we are here for you. This is a crazy year with financial aid and everything else that's going on, and just the whole college process. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll take you all the way through. So thank you all, and I'd like to invite Gia and Armani and their families to come up here for some photos. So please don't go anywhere, and Tim will wrap us up with what to do next. Thank you.
Congratulations. Like I said, you're all winners, all of you. You all walk out with something. So if you would like to go downstairs, this way, that way, in HC007 is where you'll pick up your fancy certificates. And there will be optional tours launching from outside the chapel if you'd like to. It's a really great day to walk around the campus. And don't forget the track and field events going on. If you'd like to hang around all afternoon, you're welcome to do that. Congrats, everybody. Winners, come on down with your families. It's time for some publicity.